Welcome to Unlock Women, brought to you by African Bank. And this is season 2, and we're doing this with the usual Ntsoaki Sibiya.
And the beautiful Dark Sitole.
And we're talking money. Welcome back, welcome back.
Welcome back to you. So now it seems like the time that we spent apart, we clearly have aligned to another level, because how is it that we just blue on blue on blue?
Oh no, we're doing blue. We're doing blue. We're doing blue.
And it's not just a dark, this is a good blue.
No, it's a good blue.
It's a good blue.
It's a good blue.
Yeah, it's a Blue Friday.
But still celebrating Women's Month. And it's good to see that we've got another powerful woman sitting with us today, who's joining us. And we're talking about Ntsoaki Sibiya. So if you're wondering who's this lady, we're talking about an entrepreneur who's very successful in her business. She trains mentees when it comes to mindset transformation, but most importantly, her passion and unwavering commitment actually goes towards economic growth and empowering women. So now you understand why she's here with us today. Hi, Ntsoaki. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks, and you. Thank you for having me today.
Great. It's always amazing how we get women with powerful voices. And right? I think you could take our jobs.
Listen,
she could take our jobs in one
space.
second.
And I think that's the thing. There's enough space for everyone with a beautiful voice to just show up. So thank you for honoring us and giving us time and coming through and joining Unlock Women.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm quite excited to be here today.
Yes, I can feel the energy. I can feel the excitement.
Indeed. And also we coordinate nicely with the colors as
yes,
well. You can really see that the colors are popping.
I love this. Your shoes are complementing my outfit. My shoes are complementing your blues.
Girl.
This is the thing. Match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven, indeed. But thank you so much for coming through. And it's always amazing when we have powerful women who are willing to come and share their knowledge and wisdom on this platform. But just to kick it off, before we get to your amazing profile, we like to start the conversation just from a childhood perspective.
Yeah.
Your upbringing, who are you? And I know you have a nice intro, so I'm going to ask you
to do the things.
I'm going to ask you to do the things that make the past to happen. We're still in Women's Month, and we are at that level at this
you know
point.
how to do that?
Oh, girl.
Okay, you've got that.
Like I'm the proper African queen.
No, yeah,
so
no. Support her when I give So I'm gonna. So I'm going to give you the stage to introduce yourself the way Ntsoaki Sibiya would introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Doric, and for giving me the platform to do that. So my name is Ntsoaki Sibiya. Thank you so much. So my seed stems from the beautiful soil of Ematatiele, which is on the western foothills of the Drakensberg Mountains.
Yes.
Wow.
And I love to introduce myself in this way because it gives you an essence of who I am, you know, and my roots being what has grounded me and has set a lot of the path and the tone of who I am today, you know, as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, as a mentor. It is in my roots where I discovered that entrepreneurship was a career option for me and has set this tone for the woman that you see today.
Love it.
Such a beautiful.
She's from Matats. This is
It's a Matats girl.
She's a Matats girl. She's a Matats girl. So bring it back home in terms of our conversation regarding money, right? Tell us a bit more about your upbringing as a child. You know, what your relationship with money was like then, right? What were the things that were said to you? Because we like that foundation because it does have an impact on your identity somehow. Some people will tell you, because of my family background, I view money like this. To this day, and so those phrases, those statements. So tell us about your family, you know, when it comes to money.
Oh my goodness. I've got such a faceted family.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a home where my grandmother raised me. However, my father was still around. He was a businessman, an entrepreneur, owned his own businesses. And my mother, although she was a teacher, she also had her own businesses on the side. So I grew up in quite an entrepreneurial family, you know, and my grandmother having raised us, I think my first money lessons came from my grandmother because she started a small business with my brother and I. So I'm the first girl amongst boys, hence the name Ntsoaki.
Oh.
Do you understand? Ntsoaki le bashanyana.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And so my brother and I started a business with my grandmother selling izqeda.
Okay.
And that's where our money lessons then came in. And how do we handle money? You know, how do you price a product? How do you differentiate yourself, you know, in terms of the product that you are selling? Because sihlala ematatiele, emaluti, and there's a lot of people who are selling this, but how do we become the go-to people? And every time we came back from school, without fail, my grandmother played Monopoly with us.
Wow.
Do you understand? And when we're playing Monopoly, then all these lessons are coming in terms of money management. What are you doing with your money? Where are you investing it? Ntsoaki, what have you done? What have you learned from the day before? And I think it was then where I discovered, in fact, that my brother was more of an investor because to this day, he invests his money a lot. And Ntsoaki spends a lot.
Okay.
And Monopoly highlighted that for me because for me, without fail, I bought every property. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I was just, there was never money left. You know?
You were just a spender.
I mean, that's investing in reverse.
In reverse. Investing in yourself.
So I think that highlighted my money story, you know, and how I relate to imali. Imali must be spent. You must get it and it must be spent, you know? And so then my father, being an entrepreneur, would always instill in us that you need to work hard for your money for you to be able to do things. So it must enable you to do things, run your business, invest back in your business, so that you're able to operate efficiently and effectively and build this business. So that's another money story and a money aspect that I was now learning from somebody else who is my father. And with my mother and her side hustles as well, it was more about your work ethic and what do you do with your money? Reinvest it back into your business, grow your businesses, pivot if you need to pivot, you know? And those are the lessons and principles that I learned now from my parents when it comes to money and running businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such an amazing story.
I'm just like, inganega gogo.
Inganega gogo.
Inganega gogo. You always win. You always win.
Inganega gogo.
From one nganega gogo to another.
Yes.
You always win.
No, those stories are so relatable. Because my grandmother also had a business in Soweto, and and she was doing ikotama and would get there and watch her do the stuff. And then the only thing I'd look forward to was amakota. So it felt like bribery. 2 years with it's okay, Coco. It's a spoon. But we don't forget those memories. And I think that's why it's so important to start there. Because now bringing it to Ntsoaki Sibiya, the woman that you are now. And I was just going through your bio and there was this powerful quote you have in there talking about how you have to know what sparks your light, right? So that in your own way, you can go out and illuminate the world. And I looked at that and it just felt like this is such a powerful quote. But tell us about how that literally defines who you are now. Coming from that space of being a child who just wants to spend. What are you doing now in terms of your business mentorship, the mindset transformation? If you're taking that quote, how would you say this literally describes who you are now?
So moving from my childhood and then coming to Gauteng, you know, to pursue my studies, to pursue what it is that I wanted to pursue. I studied graphic and information design, right? Okay. And when I finished graphic and information design, I assumed that things would be easy for me because I was quite the overachiever growing up, you know. I played sports, I excelled in my sports, I excelled in academics, you know. And so I thought things would just flow naturally. And phew, a hard life lesson when I complete my studies and I don't find employment. And so I then decided to work in retail, you know, just to keep myself afloat because now my parents are saying, back home, the municipality has a lot of openings.
Vacancies.
Yes. or come and run your dad's business, you know? And for me, that was not an option because I'm like, no ways. There must be more to my life than that. And so I opted for retail. So I worked in retail. I was like, okay, it'll be for 3 months just to get them off my back so that I'm financially independent and stable and I'm standing on my own until I can find a way forward, right? And 2 years later, lo and behold, I am still in retail.
Your blessing is stretched.
I am still in retail, you know, and feeling unfulfilled. And deep down, I knew that I was destined for greater. There must be more to this, you know? And it goes back to that quote. You've got to know
what sparks
the fire within you. And so I had my daughter, still unemployed, still working in retail, met my now husband, trying to figure things out. And then I got an opportunity to work as a receptionist at a security company, a small security company. A friend of mine was going on maternity leave and she plugged me with this. And so I thought, this is my step in. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for because I know what sparks the fire within me. You know what I mean? And I got there and I didn't get there with the mindset of I'm a receptionist. I'll wait for management to tell me what to do and to just give me directive. I decided to take ownership of that role. We went into a board meeting. They were doing engineering, had a couple of contracts, and they wanted to insource security instead of outsource it. But they didn't know the ins and outs of security and the business and how to operate the security business. And so I then stepped forward and said, I will start this business for you. I will structure it. And we can move it forward from there. And literally, because I took ownership of that, I went out, sought research on the runnings of a security business, the content, the context of the industry. And I took that business and built it. And within 6 months, I was the operations manager and we were now set to have our own contract. You know, we were acquiring our own contracts now outside of what their vision was. Because my vision was bigger. Do you understand? And so I set up structures for that security business. I set up operation systems and how to operate this ship so that it moves forward and it runs efficiently outside of this engineering company that they have. And it's a business on its own, providing security services. And so I was quite proud of myself for that. And it goes back to that again, knowing what sparks the fire within you so that you in your own way can illuminate the world. And I illuminated my journey in that sense.
Because literally that quote for me, there's just gems coming out of that on its own. The importance of knowing your purpose. Because it says you must know
100%,
what you have.
100%.
Because there's no impact if you don't know what's going on. What do you have?
Because what then happened is that I then lost my job 5 years later because it wasn't mine to begin with. You know? It was not mine.
So, not yours to keep.
You know? And I felt so entitled to a whole lot of stuff there because I had built it, but it was not mine. You know? And then when I lost my job, I was completely shattered. My spirit was shattered because I thought, oh my goodness, I've invested so much time in this.
That your identity was
my
in the
identity
job.
was in that job. You know what I mean? And I spoke to now my late father and my husband, and they're like, if you could do that for somebody else, certainly you could do that for you. You know? You can run this journey on your own, and there's a gap for women in security. And so you can do this for yourself. And Maya Angelou's quote then, I could resonate with that, you know, when it says that you may go through adversity. So I'm paraphrasing, going through adversity, but you can't be defeated. Never allow yourself to be defeated because sometimes you go through these things because they test how strong you are. They test your character, right? And so that's where I then started my security business from a place of experience and
loss.
You know?
Yeah. And it's always a good, there's a saying that was said, and if I'm not mistaken, the person who shared it with me, they were from Nigeria, and they said they've got a saying that says that even a black pot gives you white pap. So in the darkness of it all, in the darkness of it all, there's still that light, and
something can emerge of that.
And Ntsoaki, when you speak about these things, there's things in conversations that I've had with Udi over the years that I'm hearing you, and I'm like, and I'm thinking about myself, and I'm like, the level of alignment. You know what I mean? They say birds of a feather, they flock together, and that's the sense that I'm getting. That's the energy that I'm getting, which then brings me to this light and knowing who you are and being comfortable in who you are and living your life authentically to who you are. You then find your voice again. You find your purpose again. You find your light, your spirit is healed in a very male-dominated space, right? And you're stepping in it as a female. And I can imagine there were a lot of naysayers. Yeah, but it's a woman. Security, I can only imagine what was being said to you. And what I would like to ask you, in staying in your femininity, because when you enter a space, when I met you, you live in your feminine energy, right? How has that worked in your favor to still stay in that energy and not believe, because then people will be like, yeah, you must man up, you know what I mean? Or maybe themselves might believe, Wuti, you must tap into your masculine space energy, so that they can take you seriously, so that they can respect you, so that, they can know, Wuti, not to mess with me. I mean, I know that, as you mentioned earlier on, back when we were still doing makeup, and you're saying you had to train. So you don't just run a company. You had to train it yourself so that you understand the business that you're in. So all of this just to say, how has it worked for you to live and stay in your feminine energy?
I had to learn that, eh?
Oh.
I honestly had to learn that because starting out, obviously, I had a lot of fears.
Yeah.
And then I realized that a lot of my fears are rooted in the fact that I'm too focused on what other people are doing in their lanes and the opinion that they have of what I should be doing in my lane and how I should be running this and how I should be showing up for this. You understand? And so I had to learn not to be consumed by such. Not to be consumed by people who say, this is how you need to show up. This is how you need to be masculine. You need to be seriously taken. You need to be... Because a lot of my peers in the industry saw me as a token.
Oh.
As a black female, youth, insecurity. Listen, that is jackpot for any BEE tendering scores.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That is like jackpot.
Tick.
You know
bring her in.
So a lot of the times, also how I was approaching my business was that I wanted enterprise development from the bigger security companies. Do you understand? I wanted to approach it differently to how I was running and operating the previous company. Do you understand? And so every time I would go out there looking for these opportunities for them to develop me and to mentor me and to help me out, to navigate through this, it was always, no, but come and become an executive on our board. No, put your company aside and come and do. So I was ticking boxes and I was just another number for them, And so I had to learn to know my worth and the value that I bring to the table and the vision that I have for myself and what I'm trying to create out of this. Because the reason I felt like I was burnt previously was because our values did not align. Yeah. And if I'm coming in from the aspect of a woman who's youth, who must sit on an executive, it's not going to fulfill what I'm trying to achieve, which is creating an empowering environment for previously disadvantaged individuals.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's more than just another security company. And a lot of people in the security industry are fighting for a piece of the pie, whereas I want to understand the recipe.
Yeah. Ooh.
Do you understand? And they were just not getting that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to learn how to show up and to show up in my feminine, energy and not try and be masculine about it.
Yeah.
And it's taken some learning, unlearning, rediscovering, readjusting here, there, whatnot. But I think people finally get it.
Yeah.
Because I did not back down and say, no, I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be. So when I step into boardrooms and I'm there and they're like, are you going to take the meeting minutes? Absolutely not. I'm not here. No, because I would get that.
Wow.
Because I'm the only woman in the room, Ntsoaki, can you take the meeting minutes? Absolutely
not. This could have been in 2023. You definitely
absolutely not. No, I'm not taking the meeting minutes. It's your meeting. You should have arranged for somebody to do that,
Yeah.
And so it's just about being true to yourself and what you are about.
Yeah.
And the vision you have for yourself. And I swear, if you walk in that conviction, people follow through and they see that she's not one to be messed with.
Yeah.
She stands her ground.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to be arrogant about it.
Yeah.
But she stands her ground and it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I said what I said.
No, I mean, when she was saying it now, it would have been me in the boardroom. My spirit would have been separated from the body. Like, did that just
happen? Sorry. I know, it takes a while. Right? Wait, did that? No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. And I love the things that you said because those are some of the things and the language that you use in terms of unlearning. Because I think, learning takes time, right? And when you've learned something, you've put the effort in to then unlearn. It even takes more time. And then you have to learn something new, about self. And, I love the know your worth because that's the thing. With women, because we are believed, and there's nothing wrong with it, that we nurturers and we build, it can work both ways for us, right? And what I love about your story and your narrative is that that's why you were able to stay true to who you are because you were like, this is bigger than me. I'm trying to build, I'm trying to create something. So I cannot just sit as an executive and not learn and not understand what the recipe is because this is not just about Ntsoaki. This is about the next girl, the next woman, the next boy child, the next generation, and, so on and so forth. So I love that about it and that it has then propelled you and it has kept you and sustained you in the space. Now, all of this, the stories, the journey, the experiences that you've gone through brings us to this moment, right? And what you're passionate about, what drives you. My favorite line is ignite passion, When we speak about money in business, because Ntsoaki is winning, Ntsoaki is getting it right, Ntsoaki is like, okay. But the money element, because also we're trying to create wealth here.
Yeah.
Because for you to make the change, for you to make the moves, there must be, that resource, and that resource would be money. If you can just briefly chat to us about what are some of the biggest money lessons you had to learn, how quickly you learned that a business account has to be separate from your personal account
before you spend everything,
and that you need to pay yourself a salary. And then also because you're already within the mentorship space, I've been thinking about it and I wonder if it's something that we should be tapping into about financial mentorship, because we've got, sponsors, we've got mentors. But when it comes to finances, somebody can say, you kind of sort of aligned with me with your spending. These are the lessons I've learned and you can still spend and fulfill, that part of you because but these are the lessons that you don't have to learn the hard way. So if you could just perhaps, give us some insights on that, the money lessons when it comes to you and business.
And those are very important, eh?
Yeah.
Especially when you are a startup business, in terms of how do you handle your money? And it all boils down to also the admin that you're doing in your business, because the admin that you are putting into your business will reflect in, do you track your money? The cash flow? Are you tracking what's happening with your money in your business? Yeah. For me, mentorship played a huge role because when I started my business, I went into an incubation program, right? Okay. And that assisted to put together things like your financial plan. because you need to put a financial plan together, a cash flow plan, have projections. What are you projecting your income is going to be, your revenue is going to be, you know, that sort of stuff. And so that has played an important role as well in terms of having a mentor to assist with that. But a lot of small businesses, when it comes to mentorship, because you don't have your goals set out, and you need to as a mentee, you tend not to think that I need mentorship in a financial, you know, area of growing my business. Because with mentorship, and I want to just put terms of reference and define. Put definitions in place. So a mentor, right? There's a difference between a mentor and mentorship.
Okay.
So a mentor is an experienced advisor, right? Somebody who's going to guide you, somebody who is credible in a particular area, a particular field, and they can guide you based on their experience, right? And then mentorship, so that's an individual, a mentor. And then mentorship is now the process, the gift of obtaining and acquiring that knowledge from a credible advisor. Do you understand?
Okay.
For this. And the reason I'm separating these two, because a lot of the times with mentees and mentorship, they make it about the mentor. Who is my mentor? And not the process and the function and resource of mentorship to accelerate your growth. Do you understand? So when you're pursuing mentorship, you need to have an understanding of mentorship and the mentor, and then have your goals set up in terms of where am I lacking? What do I need? What does my business need? Where is there a gap in terms of the growth in my business? And if it's in finance, then there are finance mentors. There are people who mentor in that specific area. Do you understand? They are expertise in that particular field that can assist you in terms of accelerating your growth in finance. If you're looking for a mentor because you've got a low self-esteem and you think it's a cure for a low self-esteem, because some people do that, then you've completely missed what mentorship is about. If you're looking for mentorship because you think they're going to fix all your hard problems, then you've completely missed what mentorship is about. If you're looking for a mentor for bragging rights, because people think they sound so exactly. People think you sound so intelligent because my mentor this, my mentor that. You know what I mean?
And that happens a lot.
And it happens a lot.
Name dropping.
It happens a lot. That means, are you focused on the mentorship journey, the function, and the resource of mentorship, or who your mentor is?
Sure.
Do you understand?
Perfectly clear.
But can it work both ways, where there's consideration about the who? In terms of the role that they play as your mentor and how that's aligned to the process as well. Could you get like a merge?
A sweet spot.
You can get that
synergy of that.
100%. You can get that sweet spot and synergy, but you as the mentor are the driver of this relationship, right? Because sometimes you think that the popular the name, and if they mentor you, you are likely to thrive,
be like them,
and to be there and to be on that level. But how many other people are actually seeking that person and want to be mentored by that person? And how much time does that person have to mentor you if you're not clear about the direction you want to take?
That's
Do you understand?
The importance
of
ownership.
So to find that sweet spot, you need to take ownership of the journey. You need to have a clear sense of understanding in terms of where am I going, what direction, and what is Ntsoaki going to assist me with to get maximum value out of the mentorship journey with Ntsoaki.
So clearly the key word here is taking responsibility, right?
Taking
ownership, but also just at some point, I think.
And a level of self-awareness as well.
Yeah, because I was about to say, when someone is dealing with a mentor, the lack of confidence, and I know you deal with that a lot.
That's what I deal with. 100%.
You deal with that a lot. Just being confident enough to say, yes, Ntsoaki is my mentor. She's well known. We tend to hide behind our mentors because we're hoping that, hey, whatever you have is going to be transferred to me. So that self-awareness.
You're using it as a crutch.
Yeah. And you're not and you're not trusting the process.
100%.
You know, to say it takes process, it takes time. So let me learn, because that's the only way you're going to blossom. You know?
And I work with that a lot. And that's what I specifically specialize in terms of mindset transformation for the mentees as well, is that the question you should ask yourself is, why should Ntsoaki actually mentor me? Instead of, I want Ntsoaki to be my mentor. Why should she mentor? Why should she mentor
She's got swag.
No, go on.
You know?
She's got swag. I want her for her swag.
Exactly.
I want
It's always
swag.
for these things that have no substance, man.
How she pull that style.
I want the swag. I want the swag.
You know? And so the work that I do with mentees, in order to position them better, because there's a strategy and an action plan. Listen to me. There is a strategy and there's an action plan in finding a mentor and discovering a mentorship journey, and the mentor who's going to be an asset and not a liability to you. Do you understand? There's an action plan and a strategy that goes into that. And part of that is personal growth.
Let that sink in.
It goes back to self.
Take it what you understand.
Let that
100%.
Let that sink in.
100%. So the work that I do with women is about accelerating your personal growth so that you understand and you are clear about where you're going, what direction you're going. And then I help you build the confidence and capability for you to chart your own path
and not to mimic
whichever mentor you want to pursue. You know what I mean? Whatever field you're in, building your confidence and capabilities so that you can take yourself to the next level of your capabilities.
Some keywords there. And there's things that I'm picking up, and I like how all of it goes back to that. It's you. It's you. Because otherwise you risk mimicking and trying to be a photocopy. And we all know this. You know, if you try to be anybody other than yourself, one thing is guaranteed, you will fail dismally. Thank you, Ntsoaki. It has been...
We're done?
Yes. I know, right? Time flies. Time flies when you're having an absolutely phenomenal time. It really does. Thank you so much for bringing in the passion. I think we couldn't have asked for a better guest to start us off on season 2. The energy, even in the makeup room and in wardrobe, has been absolutely phenomenal. But because I'm a unicorn and I bring nice sprinkles, can all of us behind the cameras and in front of the cameras, Ntsoaki celebrates her birthday tomorrow. Let's sing us happy birthday! So, you know, those who don't have a singing voice, it's fine. You can hum it, right? But we're going to sing it to Ntsoaki. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, guys.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ntsoaki. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much.
Well,
I'm a G. I can't be crying.
Girl, the makeup still needs to be intact.
you know, you look up and you dab, and you dab, and you dab.
You dab.
But that was so unexpected.
Only a pleasure.
Really
Only a
it.
pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, team.
And to you at home, thank you once again for honoring us, for walking this journey with us. And we're back with season 2. It's going to be even more fire as we unlock more when it comes to women and, of course, all things money with Dorix Sithole
and Kanya Sosibo.
Till the next time.